Hi, I'm Joe Alvarez. Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. Today's episode, we're going to talk about alleviating the water buildup on a floor. Okay, today we're going to cut a hole in a floor to alleviate the water buildup. When we cut this hole, we're going to actually cut a triangle. By cutting a triangle, it's only going to be 3 cuts, not 4, so it's a lot quicker. The other thing is, we're going to put it off to the sidewall. The reason why we're going to put it off to the sidewall is because firefighters are going to be traveling in and out of this room the rest of this scene to do overhaul. We don't want the firefighter to twist their ankle inside the hole that's in the center of the floor. The other way we can do this is by removing the baseboard and punching a hole in either the sheetrock, drywall, or plaster. The only thing you need to remember is when you do that, if this is platform construction, we need to remove that little piece of the wood. If this is a balloon constructed building, by removing that, it's very simple. The water is going to go just like it's a regular drain. We're removing this water load from the floor only because we have firefighters walking around, and you're talking anywhere between 200 and 300 pounds of weight per firefighter with turnout gear and equipment. Then we're going to add a load of water, which is, everybody uses that 8.34 pounds, but we're going to use 8 pounds per gallon. If you have a couple of gallons up on a floor, you're adding that extra load that is not safe for us to be operating. What we've done here is we've made a simple triangle cut. Now we have a drain in a floor. Sometimes this little cut will fall through all on its own, but if it doesn't, we need firefighters to remove that. So a firefighter with a pike pole or a Halligan tool might be able to remove this. Okay, what we've done is we've cut the triangle, and now the firefighters have removed the block of wood that was still in there. After that's done, water is going to flow freely through this hole. It's best said by Mike Champo, you should always have 2 tools because you have 2 hands. I agree with him 100%. Things that we need to remember, though, is when we talk about 2 tools, a lot of people will sit there and they'll bring this in. This is great that these are married up together, but you're limited with what they can and can't do. Plus, 90% of the time, whether I'm at work or whether I'm home at my volunteer fire department, I've seen this set up just like this, laying at the front door more times than none. Why? Because people don't like to carry heavy things around them. We have a lot of heavy things that we carry around with us. Normally, this is just one more added thing that we have to carry. There are other techniques. 2 tools. This is a little bit lighter to marry up a pike pole and a Halligan tool. The Halligan tool is one of the most versatile tools that you're going to find in a fire service. It could cut, it could pry, it could pick at something. Whereas an axe has its chopping and its hammer technique. Well, you can get that same hammer technique out of 2 Halligan tools or a Halligan tool and a pike pole married up together. And it's a lot easier for the firefighter. Now, things that we can do. If we were to go do a vent, enter, and search, and we bring our pike pole with us in the window, we could hook this pike pole onto the sill. We now have a Halligan tool to go about our business and search this building. This pike pole that's been placed inside the window, it gives us a good vantage point as to where the window is because it reaches, what? 6 feet into a room. It's giving us that 6-foot edge across this room. And if you look across the room, it's not that far from the other side of the wall. One other thing, if each firefighter brought in a Halligan tool and we had to force a door, we could marry these 2 tools up to give us leverage to pry something. After forcing, once we use an axe to force, the axe really doesn't give us any good leverage points. People sit there and say, well, we can do this and try to pry. But guys, let's be real. You're not getting the leverage. You're not getting that straight off pull that you'd get by marrying two Halligan tools together. So just remember, guys, when we go into burning buildings, 2 hands, 2 tools. Even if you're an engine boss, you should always have a tool with you. The Halligan tool, I feel, is the tool of choice. Okay, these 2 firefighters each have a Halligan tool in their hands. If you notice, the one firefighter put the pick end into the floor. The other firefighter is going to take his Halligan tool and drive that pick down into the floor.
Strike, 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 strike. Strike.
Okay. As you can see, with a series of strikes, between 8 and 10 strikes, they've made a hole in the floor. They've now made that same drain that we've used a power saw for. These 2 firefighters didn't have the option of using a power saw. They had to use their hand tools. Another technique for removing water from a floor is to remove the baseboard. Now, if this was a balloon frame house, by removing that baseboard, it's going to allow the water to channel freely to that opening and then down to the lower areas, alleviating all that extra load that's been put up here by the water from firefighting. By them working together, they're going to find a stud. They're going to use their tool to pry and get this baseboard to break away. Once the firefighters have removed all the debris, you can see that water will flow freely through this opening. This house is platform frame, so we would need to cut that with a saw. If this was balloon frame, they'd have no issues. Water would just channel right through here and go down to the lower levels. Thank you for watching Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. I'm Joe Alvarez. I'd also like to thank the Oakland, New Jersey Fire Department.